In the world of boxing, few names evoke the same mixture of awe, controversy, and nostalgia as Naseem Hamed, the flamboyant British, Yemeni fighter who turned the squared ring into his personal stage. As of now, Hamed remains one of boxing's most unforgettable figures, not merely for his thunderous left hand, but for his audacious swagger, his pride, and his unfiltered charisma. At his peak in the late 1990s, Hamed was a one-man empire. Endorsements, fight purses, and television rights made him one of the wealthiest lighterweight boxers in history. By 2001, his net worth was estimated at around $70 million, with massive purses from fights that broke British pay-per-view records. Even today, he remains financially secure through investments, appearances, and legacy royalties, with an estimated net worth of around $40 million in 2025, a reflection of both the glory he built and the fame that still follows his name. But the story of Prince Naseem isn't just about money. It's about rebellion, about a boy born to Yemeni immigrants in Sheffield who dared to defy every boxing stereotype and became a global star who walked into arenas like a king entering his kingdom. Early life. Naseem Salim Ali Hamed was born on February 12, 1974 in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, England, to Yemeni immigrant parents Sal and Yemina Hamed. His father, Sal, ran a modest corner shop in one of Sheffield's toughest neighborhoods, a man who dreamed his children might rise beyond the gray streets and limited opportunities that surrounded them. The Hameds were a large family, 9 children in total, and Naseem was among the youngest. Life was humble. The family lived above their small grocery shop and money was tight. But inside the cramped apartment, a fiery energy brewed, and Sal Hamed noticed early that his son was different. Naseem was fast, confident, and full of fight. The streets of Sheffield weren't gentle, and his father wanted to make sure his son could defend himself. One afternoon, when a 7-year-old Naseem came home bruised from a street scuffle, Sal made a decision that would change boxing history. He took his son to a local gym, the Wincobank Gym, run by the eccentric and legendary trainer Brendan Ingle. It was there, amid the smell of leather and sweat, that the story of Prince Naseem truly began. Ingle saw raw electricity in the young boy, an energy so untamed it was almost chaotic. He trained Naseem not just to box, but to dance, to move, to perform. Ingle believed that boxing was as much theater as it was combat. He taught Hamed to trust his instincts, to fight with rhythm, and to make the ring his stage. By the time he was a teenager, Naseem Hamed was already a local sensation. He could dodge punches like a phantom and counterattack with lightning precision. His schooling faded into the background. Boxing became his education, his obsession, and his destiny. Personal life. Behind the dazzling entrances and bravado, Hamed's personal life has always been deeply rooted in tradition and faith. In 1998, at the height of his fame, Hamed married Alicia Elphinstone, a woman he'd been with since his early years in Sheffield. Their marriage was both private and enduring, a partnership that survived the storms of fame, controversy, and reinvention. Together they have 2 sons, Adam and Sammy Hamed. Both boys grew up watching their father's old fights on VHS tapes, hearing stories of sold-out arenas and world titles. Now, as of 2025, his son Adam Hamed is following in his father's footsteps, having turned professional in boxing. The resemblance in style, confidence, and swagger has caught the media's attention. The next generation of the Hamed name is stepping into the ring. Hamed is a devout Muslim, and faith has always guided his life. During his fighting years, he would often prostrate in prayer after victories, thanking God for strength and success. In interviews, he has spoken about the pride he feels in representing both Britain and Yemen, carrying his cultural identity with defiance and pride in an era when being Muslim and outspoken in sports wasn't always accepted. Away from boxing, Hamed has lived quietly since retiring. He's occasionally appeared at major boxing events, his once slender frame now replaced with the calm, heavier presence of a man who's lived multiple lives. He's dabbled in property investments, served as a mentor for young athletes, and even ventured briefly into entertainment, contributing vocals to the 1996 UK track, Walk Like a Champion. Yet for all his fame, Hamed has always kept his private life shielded. Fame was once his armor. Now peace is his sanctuary. Professional career. The Meteoric rise, 1992 to 1995. In 1992, at just 18, Hamed turned professional. From his very first fight, he was unlike anything the boxing world had ever seen. He fought with his hands low, his chin high, and his confidence skyward. Commentators called it reckless, but opponents soon learned it was genius. Within 2 years, Hamed was tearing through the ranks. He captured the European bantamweight title, and by 1995, he was ready for world recognition. That opportunity came in Cardiff, Wales, where he faced Steve Robinson for the WBO Featherweight Championship. Under cold rain and the jeers of the Welsh crowd, the 21-year-old Hamed danced, dodged, and detonated punches with frightening precision. In the 8th round, he dropped Robinson with a left hand that echoed through the stadium. That night, under the rain, a star was born. The Prince ascends, 1996 to 1999. Once crowned champion, Naseem Hamed didn't just defend titles. He reinvented what boxing entertainment meant. His ring entrances were legend. One night, he'd soar over the crowd on a flying carpet. Another, he'd backflip over the ropes to Michael Jackson's Thriller. Theatrics that would have seemed absurd for anyone else became his trademark. But Hamed's performances weren't hollow spectacle. He backed them up. He knocked out Tom Johnson to win the IBF title, then added the WBC featherweight belt by defeating Cesar Soto. In every fight, his confidence grew. He taunted, he laughed, he danced, and then he destroyed, usually before the final bell. In 1997, he made his U.S. debut at Madison Square Garden, facing Kevin Kelly. The American press called him cocky, arrogant, even a showman without substance. What followed was one of the most electrifying fights of the decade. Both men knocked down multiple times before Hamed landed a final crushing blow in the 4th round. The crowd that booed him during his entrance gave him a standing ovation at the end. From that point, Hamed wasn't just a boxer. He was a global superstar. Style, power, and controversy. Naseem Hamed's boxing style defied convention. He kept his gloves low, head high, dancing on his toes like a cobra waiting to strike. His reflexes were superhuman, his counters almost psychic. But more than that, his charisma filled arenas. British boxing had never seen a man so unafraid to embrace confidence that bordered on arrogance. He spoke with conviction, often calling himself the greatest featherweight of all time. For many, his self-belief was magnetic. For others, it was blasphemy. But love him or hate him, you couldn't ignore him. The Fall, Barrera, and the Breaking Point 2001. Every great rise has its reckoning. On April 7, 2001, in Las Vegas, Hamed faced Marco Antonio Barrera, the Mexican technician who had waited patiently for his chance. The fight was expected to be another show, another Prince Naseem spectacle. But what unfolded was different. Barrera studied Hamed's wild style, countered every move, and exposed the holes in his defense. Round after round, Barrera punished him. By the final bell, Hamed's aura of invincibility was gone. He had lost by unanimous decision, his first and only professional defeat. The loss hit him hard. The Prince, who had once danced through opponents, now found himself humbled under the bright lights of Vegas. He would fight only once more, a sluggish win over Manuel Calvo in 2002, and then quietly walked away from boxing at just 28 years old. Many say it was injury, others say ego. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. The fire that had burned so brightly had consumed itself. When the dust settled, Hamed's final record stood at 37 fights, 36 wins, 31 knockouts, and 1 loss. He had unified titles across major sanctioning bodies, earned millions, and inspired a new generation of fighters. In 2015, Hamed was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, recognition that solidified his place among the sport's immortals. He didn't just win fights, he changed boxing's language. Today, fighters like Tyson Fury, Amir Khan, and even Conor McGregor cite him as an influence, not just for his talent, but for his unapologetic self-expression. House tour and car collection. Prince Naseem's taste for luxury is no secret. During his prime, he lived like royalty. He owned multiple properties, including a lavish mansion in Sheffield, complete with marble interiors, ornate chandeliers, and an expansive private gym. Local media once dubbed it the Palace of the Prince. After retirement, he reportedly invested in property across the UK, including high-end developments in London. His car collection was a reflection of his personality: loud, stylish, and extravagant. Among the vehicles reportedly in his garage over the years, a Ferrari F355 Spider, his pride during his WBO days; a Porsche 911 Turbo, often spotted on Sheffield roads; a Mercedes-Benz SL55 AMG, customized with luxury interiors; and a Bentley Continental GT, symbol of his post-boxing lifestyle. Ironically, one of those luxury cars, a Mercedes McLaren, led to one of his biggest controversies. In 2005, Hamed was convicted for dangerous driving after a serious crash in Sheffield that left another driver injured. He served 16 weeks in prison. The fall from grace was hard, but when he emerged, he was a different man, quieter, more reflective, and at peace with the man he had become. Unlike many modern athletes, Hamed's rise wasn't forged in university gyms or collegiate championships. He never attended college. The ring was his classroom. From the age of 7, he was molded by Brendan Ingle's Wincobank Gym, a place that valued instinct over textbooks. By 18, he was a professional. Every jab, every shuffle, every knockout was a lesson learned not in lecture halls, but under bright lights and roaring crowds. As of today, Prince Naseem Hamed is alive. Now 51, he lives a quieter life between Sheffield and occasional trips abroad. He's heavier, wiser, and softer spoken, but his eyes still sparkle when he talks about boxing. There are no health concerns or confirmed reports of serious illness. He remains active in the sport through his sons and mentorship. The prince has not died. He has simply transformed from the showman of the ring into the elder statesman of swagger. Naseem Hamed's story is one of paradox, brilliance and bravado, faith and fame, triumph and turmoil. He entered the ring like a comet and left it just as suddenly, leaving behind a trail that still lights the sky of boxing history. To the old-school purists, he was arrogance personified. To millions of fans, he was the pulse of boxing's golden era, the man who made the small weights matter. Today, when his son Adam steps into the ring, the echoes of his father's entrances still reverberate. The music, the swagger, the belief. Because the truth is, legends like Prince Naseem Hamed never truly fade. They just stop fighting and let the world remember.